let's dig in a little deeper on this now with ABC News contributor Mike Muse. Mike, thanks for joining us. Long time no talk, my friend. How much do you think will this impact the film industry and the way we watch movies?
Well, I think first, Diane, one, happy Friday to you. I think it's going to impact the way that we watch movies going forward. Consumer behavior patterns are changing. We're changing the way that we shop. We used to go into brick and mortars. Now we're getting accustomed to shopping so much online. And now we're sitting at home during this global pandemic, and we're used to receiving content now from the comforts of our couch. I think as more Americans and as consumers get comfortable with watching a show on Netflix or our favorite streaming platform, having our own food of choice, having our own beverage of choice, which isn't hitting us in the pockets for like $35, $40 for a bucket of popcorn and a soda, I think that we're going to start enjoying that a little bit more. And then the idea of trying to convince us to go from the couch to the movie theater is going to be that much more challenging. Because, Diane, what used to happen was the big studios used to save the big blockbusters for the theater releases. But if you're going to release Wonder Woman and other big budget films and the like at home, what is now the incentive to go to the theater as a whole? But I think, Diane, to the business side of it, that was the consumer side. From the business perspective, I actually take the approach that I'm actually glad to see Warner doing this. I think they recognize that the trend is coming. People will not be going back to theaters. And so instead of fighting it, trying to hold on to this old narrative, this old tradition of how we receive our content, they're trying to get ahead of it, trying to be more advanced to make sure that consumers get used to seeing their movies streaming and the likes in other ways.
And Mike, I am Team Couch, but my husband is a movie buff, and he cannot wait to be back in a theater with the big, giant, oversized bucket of popcorn and the whole ambiance of the people around him. Are there enough people like that out there to keep the movie theater industry alive once this pandemic is over?
Diana, I love your husband. I'm sure he's a great guy, but no.
Oh, no, he's going to be really mad at me and you for that.
Tell him I love him. But here's the thing. There's just not enough. Diane, when you think about it, televisions are getting so much more cheaper now. If you look at the Cyber Mondays, the Black Friday sales, you can get 50-inch televisions for around $150. The sound bars and the subwoofers that make that surround sound experience, they become so much more cheaper. You're seeing packages at $100, $200 max. So you're able to create the big sound effects that you were normally used to in theater now in the comforts of your home. And think about it. If you invest $200 for a surround sound system, $150 for a television, you're looking at still under $400. Over the course of a year, you're saving that much more by staying at home than you would purchasing a ticket, going to dinner, and buying the soda and the popcorn at home. So your savings end up much more on the better side for the consumer if you choose to stay at home. And I think this is why it's going to be a challenge. I don't see people going to theaters on a Friday night release in droves the way that we used to. There's something alluring about sitting at home now, and we're used to curating lifestyle, used to curating social distances with our friends in our own home now. And so it's going to be the challenge to get us back into the theaters. But I think they're taking a cue, Diane, from the music business. If you remember LimeWire, Napster, the music business didn't see the innovation coming. They tried to fight the wave. They tried to sue their way out of it to get people to go back to purchasing CDs on a Tuesday. Well, you see now we release music on Fridays on digital streaming. But think about that, Diane. If they would have caught up to the innovation and caught up to consumer behavior trends early on, the music business might have a better bottom line, a cushion, than what they do now. Film watch that. The studios are noticing that, and they're saying, hey, instead of fighting what's happening due to global pandemic, why don't we embrace it, be innovative, so that we can increase our bottom line?
All right, the studios may be embracing it, but the theater change, not so much. AMC Theaters already put out a statement saying they're not happy with this decision and that they're going to be doing whatever they can to preserve their economics. Now, theaters have already taken a huge hit during this pandemic. So what does this all mean for their future?
Diane, that's why I love you. You always bring so many sides of the coin to such important topics. Yes, I was talking about the consumer side. Yes, we talked about the studios, but we forget a lot of those theaters, some of them are independent distributors. Some of them are in small towns like where I'm from, Lansing, Michigan, and we forget that they're being hit, their income. We're also too forgetting that a lot of these concession stand jobs are first jobs for high school students, right? These are first jobs for people who are looking for employment. So this does actually have a ripple effect to the local economy aspect of it, from individuals being able to have a chance to work. And also, too, although we think about those theaters, because, Diane, they take up such large square footages, there's still a very small business dynamic when you really think about it in the long run. And so distributors are going to take a very hard hit. There is no if, then, or buts about it. There's no way I can spend that. That is the harsh reality. And so what they need to do, Diane, is find a way to be innovative as well. They can't sue their way out of this. Again, we saw what happened in the music business. When you protest and when you sue, you end up having to succumb. So what I will encourage those distributors to start doing is finding ways to be innovative with the space that they have and find a way to create more innovative digital technology and content to bring maybe a hybrid system that is both streaming and some type of physical space where people can receive the content.
And then finally, the other streaming services, should we expect similar announcements down the line?
Absolutely. I think we're now going to be in a fight of streaming, right? Because you have Disney Plus, you have Hulu, you have Amazon, now you have HBO Max, who's really making a huge play lately with the content that they'll be receiving. So you're going to start seeing streaming services really go at each other in a very competitive way. But that's good for the there's two advantages of that, Diane. That's good for the consumer, right? Because we get cheaper subscriptions, because when you start subscribing to Disney, Hulu, Amazon, Netflix, that adds up to your monthly subscription. So I believe we're going to start seeing a competitive pricing structure begin to go down due to competition. But the other side, Diane, that we haven't talked about is the content creators, right? In particular, content creators who are women, in particular content creators who are people of color. Normally, those individuals and demographics don't get the marketing budgets that they need to get people to go from their homes to the theaters. But now, if you're watching it on the streaming site and you can get it on demand, people are more than likely willing to take a chance on new content creators and new film titles and new projects. But also, too, people are curious to explore content because we are sitting at home. And after that 2-hour film ends, you're looking for more, right? And so you may then start exploring your curiosity or the recommendations that pop up due to the AI algorithm at hand. So I think there is an advantage for consumers and for content creators, more importantly.
All right. You do always find the bright spot for me. Mike Muse, one of the many things we love about you. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.